yourself, look, if you want something from an investment angle, if you can get something for a decent price in a beachfront location, that's never going to change.
Which developments would you say are hot on the coast these days, whether they be new or existing ones with lots of different phases?
Oh my word! It depends on what you want, and we have, again, what never ceases to amaze me is the difference that clients have in terms of what they're looking for. Some people it has to be beachfront. Some people it has to be walking distance to amenity. Some people it has to be amazing sea view. Some people it has to be big terraces. And there's hundreds of new developments, and there's thousands of what I call resale developments, which are developments that have been built over the last 20 years that stand the test of time. I think what I've noticed over the last couple of years is people looking more towards the resort style environment. So they want a few facilities on site, almost like the American model, where you turn up, you have 24-hour security, the guy at the gate kind of welcoming you in. And you have pools, and you have gardens, and you have maybe a spa on site, a gymnasium, maybe a co-working space, maybe a kids club. And we've seen quite a few examples of that over the last few years. One is Higueron West, which I think was probably one of the fastest selling resorts, and we're actually waiting for new stock to be released there. We have people who are signing contracts now who actually took the plunge to invest there about 12 months ago, but there was no building license. So what's happened, which does happen on very successful multi-phase developments, is that the promoter, to keep up with demand, has to release new stock, but they have to release new stock that doesn't have a license yet because demand has overtaken supply. That can cause problems, of course. And the main thing for buyers in that situation is to make sure that no money is given to the developer, that it's given to your lawyer to secure the unit, but that the money doesn't go to the developer until they have the license in place, which means they can get the bank guarantees to protect your funds. But it means you've got a long wait, because you might be reserving something even a year before the license is granted, and then you've got a 2-year wait for the thing to be built. So you're looking at a three-year cycle. Now, the good thing for investors like that, and we have a few of them who are in that position, the good news is that you're benefiting from natural price increases. So you might have invested a year ago, but the prices have been going up during that time. So you're benefiting from that. If you want to come and sell in even mid-construction or at the end, chances are you're going to be turning a little bit of a profit there.
So if you're not in a hurry to get the keys, mm-hmm. and you have time and you're not worried about waiting, then you can get something that is the best units in a new development. Yeah. At the launch price, which normally is particularly the very first phase that gets launched, is launched below what they think the market value will be. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a very well-known developer, Taylor Wimpey, for instance, who specialise in the UK and also in mainland Spain and also the Balearic Islands, they've been doing this for years, and they always release at the lowest possible price. Almost not a loss leader, I'm sure, but to get the interest going, and then they will just steadily increase the prices as construction takes place. And they're very honest and open about that. They'll say, well, if you invest on day one, you're going to get a better price than somebody who invests on day 100. So everyone knows where they stand. And it's a bit like buying tickets for a flight, isn't it? The earlier you get in there, the cheaper the price you pay. If you're going to book a flight for tomorrow, you're going to pay more than someone who did 6 months ago.
So we have Higueron West. Any others that come to mind?
Yeah, so Higueron West is great for people who want to be close to the airport, because it's 20 minutes away from Malaga Airport. So it's very easy, and they've got lots of facilities on site. They've got a good spa, gym, hotel, nice restaurants, and you've got a little shuttle service down to the beach. To compete with that, you've got places like Palo Alto, where we've also sold, which is more Marbella-centric, I would say. It just sits above the town of Marbella. A little bit more countrified, if you like. So you've got rolling hills around you.
That's technically in the municipality of Ojen, isn't it? Which is above Marbella.
That's right. So for people who know Marbella, who know La Cañada shopping centre, which is the main shopping mall above Marbella, just north of that, you enter Ojen. So because one of the problems, of course, in Marbella over the last 10, 15 years has been building anything because of the licensing issues and the restrictions on that. So a developer who can find a bit of land in Ojen, call it Marbella, because it's literally 2 minutes down the road, then you're onto a bit of a winner, because it's going to be much easier to build that out. And then I suppose the third project that competes in terms of size and scale and amenities would be somewhere like Real de la Quinta, who again have run out of stock. Real de la Quinta released 2 apartment developments. They released Olivos and Quercus, nothing available. And they're actually waiting now to release the next project. So all they have at the moment is they have some plots and they have some villas that, like bespoke design villas. But they have nothing to offer people who have, say, 500,000 to $1 million, nothing at all at the moment. And we have people who are waiting for that. But again, that's going to be a wait. Even though it's in Benahavis, we haven't got the same big delays that you would find in Marbella. It still means that, the project's got to be formulated and scoped and then built.
What about in Marbella itself? If a buyer was dead on having something in the municipality of Marbella itself, is there any developments that popped your head there?
Yeah, there are some good developments. It's just not many of them because of the restrictions. And of course, because there's not many of them and because land is so expensive in Marbella, they're not cheap. I went to a presentation by a promoter called Prime Invest a few weeks ago for a project which is actually next to El Rosario and Las Chapas, that kind of area, beachfront.
So on the east of Marbella.
Exactly. You've got beaches, then you've got sand dunes, and then you've got the development. So a lovely location, nice beaches there. And it's a project called Dunique. And I went along, they didn't tell us much about it. And I actually had a client in mind for it who had a budget of $1 million. And I thought, this is, they just sold their villa in the villa development next door. They wanted a downsize to an apartment. They'd sold their villa for a couple of million and they wanted something for $1 million. And I went along to the presentation with my colleague, and it was all very lovely. And look at this, and then they kept the prices back. And I thought, what's going on here? And they kept telling us how amazing the project was, and look at this, look at the design, and everyone was just like, how much are they going to be? We're on the phone, we've got clients here, and I think it was like 2 million plus, and it was like, oh, okay. So effectively, my clients would be swapping an amazing villa that they had for an apartment or a townhouse. It's not going to work. So I'm sure it'll be successful because of its location, but it was just a bit disappointing that the starting prices were so high. Now, that may be because the land is so expensive anyway. Obviously, if you have a piece of land that has been owned for many, many years, and then you start building now, then you've got more margin to play with and you can offer it. But so it depends on how much the land costs, how greedy, let's be honest, how greedy the developer is, and also obviously the final spec of the project. But yeah, it was a bit of a shock. It felt a bit toppy, but I might be proved wrong.
Do you think that the situation with Marbella East, that maybe the people are bidding on the fact that not only is the west very saturated all the way into the New Guatemala, West Epona, but in the east you have several very high profile hotel developments, branded residence developments coming into the east that may just bring up the prices of real estate in that area?
I think so. So you've got W, you've got Four Seasons, you've got a couple of others, aren't there, that are all going in there. And I think that the difference with Marbella East is there's hardly any new stock. Marbella West and down towards Estepona, it's a slightly different ball game because that was developed later on. So there is a little bit more new development. In Marbella East, there's not a lot. So it means that anything that does get through the license process and is launched is going to be attractive because it's one of a very few number of new developments, which again, like I said earlier, is what people actually want. And you know what? The thing about it is they're not making any more beach. So, that's the key thing. And that's why beachfront stock is always valuable. And that's why I always say to clients, look, if you want something from an investment angle, if you can get something for a decent price in a beachfront location, that's never going to change. It's always going to be that beachfront location. You're not going to have something come and be built in front of you and they ain't going to make any more beach.